Hi and welcome to another episode of What's Cooking You. Back, Chef Ismail Arbee, back to cook up a storm for you. Today, a lot of people make this common error whereby they overcook their steaks. I'm going to show you something a little bit different today, where it's a crumb steak. Everyone goes out and they have a chicken schnitzel. Well, today we are going to be making a steak schnitzel. Very simple, easy recipe. So let me run you through the ingredients first, right? We're going to need olive oil as usual. I've put in a bit of veggie seasoning, a bit of Cajun spice, salt and pepper is a must to taste, some eggs, lemon juice. I'm adding a little bit of a twist today with the Parmesan cheese, bit of garlic, some butter, some green and red chilies, onion, some mushroom. You can use black mushroom, you can use white mushroom, any mushrooms that you'd like, a bit of heavy cream, some flour, some spring onion, not forgetting obviously the steak. So what I am using today is I'm using a thin slice of sirloin steak. It has a lot more flavor to it. You can use topside, that's not a problem, but I prefer using your sirloin steak. And obviously not forgetting our breadcrumbs, accompanied with a sweet potato mash. Yes, sounds a bit weird, sweet potato mash. Trust me, it is absolutely divine because we are going to be putting a bit of almonds in there as well. Trust me, absolutely awesome. We're going to start off first by making a simple, easy mushroom sauce. I have shown it to you before, but today we're going to add a bit of a twist to it. I'm going to make it a lot more of a creamier sauce. So we are going to be using your butter, your flour. We're going to create what we call a roux. That is your butter and flour cooking together. We're going to add our mushrooms to that. Thereafter, we're just going to add fresh cream. So we're excluding the milk completely, which I have showed you before, and we are just adding fresh cream. So it's very simple. Just get my stove started. So we're just going to get our stove started. Our pan slightly hot. A knob or two of butter. Let that melt. I'm just going to take a small clove of garlic. I'm going to crush it. And we're going to, in there, a bit of olive oil. Right, just so that our butter does not burn. So a bit of olive oil. Boom. We're going to allow that to melt up nicely. Right, you can use a medium heat, not too high because you don't want your butter to burn. So we want to get that nice nutty flavor coming through with our garlic flavor coming through as well. Our flour and our mushrooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start frying off our mushrooms first. Right, so just a tad bit of mushrooms and there. A bit of pepper. I want to fry my black pepper off. For the reason is I want to extract all the black pepper flavor coming through, which is going to give it a bit more of a pungent flavor if you do fry it off. Crush some black pepper, and we're going to cook off our mushrooms. As you can see in the pot here, I've got your sweet potato and I've got your potatoes boiling already. On the other side, I've just got a bit of hot oil in order for us to cook our schnitzel properly. You don't want it too hot oil because then you're just going to cook the outside and not cook the inside. So you want to keep it at a medium heat oil just to basically cook the entire steak through and still keep its color. Whilst doing that, I'm just going to start on my steak. So I'm just going to mallet it down gently. Right, because you do not want a too thick piece of steak. You want it quite thin. And as you see, I have left a little bit of fat on it. Okay, mushrooms are looking awesome. And I've left it a lot more chunkier. Right, I'm just going to put a bit of veggie seasoning in there. A squeeze of lemon. Right, now the normal trick that everyone should know by now after watching the show so often is how to get your lemon juice out easier. It's basically just squeezing it through, rubbing it on a hard surface. Just like that, you're extracting the juice a lot easier. Cut it down. Just a squeeze of lemon. Right, whilst there, I'm just going to add this lemon to my steak. Your lemon actually breaks down the toughness of the meat itself, because it's the exact same acids which are in your tummy. So it will break down, it will make your meat a lot more softer. Okay, brilliant. These are browning up really nicely. A bit of flour. Alright, so I want to fry my flour. Just toss that up. Alright, now you want to cook that flour off. Yep, it doesn't look that pretty right now, but trust me, it will. I'll just take a bit of spring onion, pop that in. Add a bit of more oil, just to get it cooking nicely. Yeah. Now, if you do not cook your flour through properly, you are going to get a very powdery taste in your mouth. Right, so you want to cook it off nicely and properly. So don't be scared, it will not burn. Right, so just allow it to cook and allow your mushrooms to cook as well. Okay, so I'm going to start now. While that is busy cooking up, I'm just going to put it on a low heat. Got it on a low heat, let it just cook through. With my steak, I'm going to add a bit of Cajun spice. I just cover it. The trick is as well to not just throw your spice on and leave it. You want to actually tap the flavors in so it's getting absorbed in. A bit of Cajun spice. This is going to add a little bit of a chili flavor to it. Right? And I love a little bit of veggie seasoning as well. Right, because you want to complement the dish throughout. That's looking a-okay. Brilliant. Then I'm just going to add in my cream. Right, you're going to use about 250 ml cream. Just grab a whisk. Right, because I want to break it down. As you can see, it's instantly thickened up, which is a good thing, right? But I'm just going to add a bit of water. Just going to add a bit of water to thin it down a bit. Because you're only cooking with cream, it's going to get a lot thicker. So we add the water inside just to thin it down. You're going to get a lot more of a richer mushroom sauce compared to when you do add milk. And just gently whisk it. As you can see, it's starting to thin down already, and then I'm going to start thickening it up again. Brilliant. So I'm going to thin it down completely, then I'm going to allow it to cook more and thicken up on its own. Alright, brilliant. I've got this on a low heat. I'm going to allow it to cook. I'm going to get back to my steak. I'm just going to take a bit of garlic, crush it. Right, and then I'm going to put it into my garlic press. So I just get a bit of a finer garlic. Okay, my sweet potatoes are ready. Just gonna put that off. Now it's gonna take a good couple of crushes to get it fine. Brilliant. Just throw a bit of garlic on it. Not too much. As you can see, I've put a bit and I'm just rubbing it in. Massaging it in. You can do this overnight as well. You're going to get an awesome result. Brilliant. That is looking and smelling amazing. Right, not forgetting our almonds. That's just your crusting. So you're going to get that little bit of a nutty flavor running through. And yet again, we're just going to press it in. Brilliant. And press it in. Alright, so you can do the marinating overnight and the flour, egg and breadcrumbs obviously at a bit of the next day when you are preparing. You don't want to flour, egg and crumb it and keep it overnight because you're not going to get the correct texture, the correct crunchiness the next day. Brilliant. Just going to give this a taste. A little bit of salt required. Brilliant. Okay, I've got my oil on for my schnitzel and we're going to start attacking the mash. Okay, I just want to wipe that up. Brilliant. As you can see as well, our potatoes are cooked through, our sweet potato is cooked through. So I know the old traditional way is usually sitting and smacking it or smashing it. Nowadays we've gone a little bit more improved and a little bit more convenient. So all I did was I got my blender in. I'm just gonna grab a tongue and, as they say, bliksem it. Brilliant, in there. So what I've done here was I've actually put an equal quantity of potatoes with an equal quantity of sweet potatoes. So we're getting a nice balance between the two and your mash isn't too sweet. A bit of veggie seasoning. Just through a little bit of black pepper. Brilliant. Now in this mash I'm going to make it a bit different. I'm going to add a bit of chili. Alright, so about half a chili, half a red and about half a green. Because you don't want it too hot as well. That, a bit of butter. And just a tad bit of cream, but we'll add that in just now. I'll just put all of this aside. We'll end up blending this and it is looking the perfect texture. Absolutely brilliant. Alright, so we're done here. I'm just going to do the flour, egg and crumbs. So I'm just going to bust the egg. Alright, so you just need 1 or 2 eggs. Okay, and we got a little boy stuck in here. Thereafter, okay, just gonna grab a fork quickly and I'm just gonna whisk this up. Right, obviously you can use a whisk at home, but I'm just doing it a fast, convenient, as they call it, the old school method. Right, quick whisk. Brilliant. So as our steak, as you can see, I've allowed it to rest. I've allowed it to basically absorb in all the flavors. So now we are going to go to the crumbing process. Very simple. First, we're gonna take it and we're gonna go with flour. Alright, just coat it nicely in your flour. Alright, you want it evenly coated as well. That's flour and then dust. Then we're gonna go into the egg. Alright, you want to do this nice and evenly as well. Just point this so that you guys can see it. Alright, massage it in and make sure the entire steak is coated evenly. Alright, you just want to let it run on a drip for a little bit. You don't want that excess spilling everywhere. And then the last thing is our crumbs. Alright, yes, your hands will land up like this. That is the point. There's no point in cooking without getting a bit messy. Brilliant. So I'm just going to leave this to rest. Awesome. So we've got our steak going on here. As you can see, the texture of the mash is amazing. It's nice, it's smooth, it's colorful. So just that tad bit of cream made it very smooth and silky. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to pop it into my piping bag. Alright, but at the same time, I'm going to get my steak in the oil. Alright, as you can see, it is coated perfectly. Alright. And I'm going to allow it to cook. And while that is going on, I'm just going to be extracting my mash. See, the normal conventional mash is just your potato. We want to add a bit of difference to it. We want to add a bit of sweetness to it with a balance of chili as well. So the sweet potato mash is a lot healthier for you, right? Because you're only using half the quantity of starch, but it's going to give you an amazing flavor. Right now, mash is still quite hot. Okay, brilliant. It is a bit runny, but that's still fine. Oh, our schnitzel's almost ready. I need to hurry up. Just clear this area a bit. Brilliant. As you can see, my oil was a bit hot. All I did was I switched it off and now I'm cooking it on absolutely no heat at all. It's cooling down, yet it's still cooking. So we're looking for that right temperature where your meat still cooks through on the inside, yet it doesn't get too brown on the outside. So I want to give you a little insight as to what steak cooking temperatures you do get steak. So it starts off first with medium, with red, or blue actually, is where it starts. That's only cooked for about maybe a minute on each side. So it's still extremely pink and bloody on the inside. Then you get rare. Rare is still pink and bloody on the inside. So it's basically like eating the cow fresh. Not very slightly cooked. Then you're looking at a medium rare, right, which is slightly more cooked. You're still gonna have a layer of about that thick pink on the inside with a lot of blood. Then you're looking at medium. Now when it gets to medium, you are basically, it's a thin line of pink on the middle of a steak with very little bit blood, which is actually the way I prefer eating my meat. Then you're gonna get a medium well. A medium well is completely cooked through, slight bit of pink on the inside, yet no blood at all. Then you're gonna get a well done, which I completely do not recommend to anybody. Absolutely dry, stringy. It is cooked all the way through, but you're actually destroying the steak itself. So it's gonna be really tough and not comfortable to eat. Right, our steak in here is looking awesome. Now just a quick flip just to get that color, and we're gonna start plating it up. Right, while that is still coming on, I've got my sauce which has thickened up quite a lot. As you can see, just with fresh cream, it has thickened up. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. A little bit of water, get it on a nice medium heat, and we're going to start breaking it down. Alright, so we're going to start with the whisk and whisking it down. Because I'm looking for that really rich flavor, I just added cream today. Right, with your sauces as well, you want to be very careful. You don't want it to be too thick or too thin where it just slides off the plate. So you're looking for that medium consistency. And our schnitzel is done. So we're just going to hold it and allow it to drain. As you can see, it has created an amazing crust on the outside. And I'm just going to allow it to settle on some tissue paper just to get all that excess oil off. Alright, boom. I'm just going to pat dry it, alright, just to get that oil off. Stunning. Right, my sauce is going on really nicely. I'm just going to get that hot. Caution, just do not, obviously our hands as chefs, we built to burn him. You don't want to do that. You just want to lightly tap, or take another tissue paper, put it over and tap, because obviously we can touch quite hot food. Brilliant. As you can see, the color has come through amazing. Very little bit oil on it. Oh, my sauce is brilliant. Okay, so we're going to start off first by piping out our mash. Alright, so just very simple, easy pipes. Okay, our steak goes on the side of it. Just want to add a bit of spring onion for garnish. And just a sprinkle, spring onion, and obviously my sauce. As you can see, the consistency, not too thick, not too thin, but a little bit more on the chunky side. Add a bit of chunky mushrooms. You just want to throw them along the plate. Who doesn't love mushrooms? Brilliant. And what I'm going to do is a little bit of my Worcester sauce. Yes, I did not forget about this. I just want to drizzle a little bit on my plate. It's going to add a little bit more of a different dynamic. Right, and I wanted to add some onion. Alright, so it's not cooked, absolutely raw, and I'm just going to be placing it, right, just to bring that nice crunchy texture into it. A little more of a spring onion. You just want to put a bit of a garnish. So I'm going to look at this one. And a bit of parmesan just to throw over. Oh, absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to dig into this. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Restaurant style steak schnitzel, done to perfection. You know, all the little tricks and so on. Please do catch us on my next episode where I'm going to be making a orange glazed chicken, right? Going with the orange sauce, absolutely something to die for. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of What's Cooking. We'll see you again.